I wanted to figure out what the best way is to move towards success. And
this is episode 79 of the Alt Arts Academy podcast, How to Get Paid to Market Yourself, with Dean Victor Varnado and Vice Queen Roxy Lim.
Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the Arts Academy podcast. I am Dean Victor Varnado. This is Vice Queen Roxy.
Hello.
And Rachel Teichman, Master of Social Work.
As you should. As you should.
It'll never get old.
It won't. It won't. Not, just like calling Dave a sidekick won't get old ever.
Yeah.
All right. Then, so today what we're going to talk about is how to succeed. Actually, this could go by two titles. We're going to talk about either how to succeed when you don't have connections, or it could be how to get paid to market yourself. Both are accurate for this episode of the podcast. And let's talk about that right now. Here we go. So what we're talking about right now is a little bit weird. It's a little bit of, I call it mad scientist talk, because I'm a person who, when I started, before I was in entertainment, I was actually a computer programmer, and I still think of things like in algorithms and logic, and I'm always trying to like logic and reverse engineer things, even though most of my life is, making jokes about poop. So one thing that I did when I decided to strike out on my own and just like work in entertainment on my own and not really work for other companies anymore, I decided that I wanted to figure out what the best way is to move towards success. And something that I noticed, and if you're a person like me, if you're like semi-internet savvy, sometimes you might think of like, I want to have a side gig. And so for a while, I was thinking I wanted to have like some sort of side gig. And so I ended up going down the rabbit hole of like, oh, what is drop shipping? What is selling t-shirts? What is this? What is that? I wanted to have like some sort of gig on the side that made money. And one thing that I found which really appealed to me was one guy had a method of conducting business. I don't even know what to describe it as. I think I would say marketing. So he calls it the marsupial method, and I call it marsupial marketing often. And I'm just going to give this guy a shout out because it really did change the way I think about stuff. He does have a book. I've never read it. I just read this article, and it allowed me to move forward with what I'm about to tell you about using this method to be successful in entertainment. Okay, his name is Daniel DiPiazza. I'm sure I'm saying that absolutely perfectly. I'm just going to throw it up on screen really fast, just in case anybody else wants to see it. Just his article, which is in Forbes. No, this is Entrepreneur. Yeah, his article is in. Is it in Entrepreneur? Look at the. Yes, his article in Entrepreneur. Okay. And he's going to talk about the marsupial method for launching a profitable business in 24 hours or less. Well, he's talking about his own business, but it applies to entertainment, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so the method, what he's talking about is it's marketing where, in his business, where it's like he finds a motivated audience to buy his services, and that means that he doesn't have to spend a lot of time finding clients. For instance, this is what the marsupial method would be if you're like a headshot photographer. Okay, if you're a headshot photographer, what you could do is you could go to any rehearsal space where actors gather and rehearse, and then you could ask them to put up your poster for headshots and give them part of the money that and give them part of the money that you get from people who come from through their offices. Or you could do that. Even something that would be even more appropriate is if you did that with casting agencies, especially because if a casting agent, when people come to casting agents and they want to be in the movies, a lot of times they don't have good headshots. And if you were the headshot person that the casting agency called, it's easier for the casting agent because then they have an in-house photographer. It's easy for you because then you have clients out of nowhere, and it's a good deal for both because you get paid and then you give them a percentage of what you get paid. So it's really a thing where kind of like everybody wins, and that's kind of awesome. And so he did this with businesses that were of no interest to me. Okay. Like his businesses were like, selling something industrial to somebody else in a gray room. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. I want to work in entertainment. So how can I take this really good idea and apply it to myself in entertainment? What that became was people who pay me basically to market myself. And it's really interesting because it's also transforming right now. So basically, I work in entertainment, and what I do is I think of ideas. So I think of show ideas, I think of movie ideas, and then I get deals with companies where either we co-produce it, or sometimes I'll make a deal with the distributor, and then they'll, write a check, and then I take that money and I can make a thing. Okay. And so one thing that helps me do that more is my own popularity. Okay. So like the more that I have like a good social media following, or the more that I have like the lockdown on the internet, or the more I have like interesting credits, that helps me in the rest of my entertainment world. Okay. Because when people think that you're cool or hot or whatever, it really helps them want to make deals with you. For instance, becoming a New Yorker cartoonist helped me everywhere because a New Yorker cartoonist as a status is actually very well respected in entertainment. And so the fact that I'm a New Yorker cartoonist helps me in every single meeting that I've gone to since. Now let's talk about people paying you to market yourself. So this idea came from reading that article and thinking about the fact that when people are trying to grow their following on social media, what they're always doing is they're working usually from the bottom up. And I thought that there must be a way to use other people's influence to make your to grow your influence on the internet. What that has become is me coming up with really weird things and finding the right people, weird things that feature me. Okay, so I make productions for other people, but now I'm making like mini productions that feature myself, and then I find the right fit for those productions, and then I get people to pay me because they're getting content which features me that they pay me for, and that content helps grow my influence on social media. Does that make sense?
So, with marsupial marketing, it is a type of like influencer marketing, is what you're saying?
You mean what the guy described?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't describe influencer marketing. He described taking your company and using other people's clients who were not in competition with the other company, like using another company's clients, and that are not in competition with you, but it complements your work, like the headshot photographer at the casting and the casting director thing that metaphor, I guess, or example that I just described.
Where does the marsupial part come in?
You mean from his? Well, a marsupial lives off of another creature. Isn't that right? What a marsupial is?
Isn't that a
Am I thinking?
parasite?
Yeah.
Well, is that a parasite? Well, isn't that a? But he calls it this marsupial method. Is a marsupial? I thought marsupials had like coexisting. They coexist. Is that not right?
That's a different. There's a different word for that, but a marsupial is like a kangaroo is a marsupial. Like it lives
like a
in
koala.
like its mother's pouch.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's actually you're right. I'm sorry, but that's still the same thing. That's like he's basically saying that he's being carried around. Yeah, they have pouches. He's being carried around by the other business. So it's. I guess I just thought I was thinking of it as a coexistence thing, but it's really just like he's being carried by the other business.
And the coexistent relationship is called symbiotic.
Symbiotic. Oh, well then my method is the symbiotic method and his method is the marsupial method. But that's actually is the symbiotic method a marketing method? Because it should be, because that's exactly what I'm talking about, the symbiotic method. So we discovered the symbiotic method today, everybody. Isn't that amazing? So basically getting businesses to market me is to getting businesses to pay you to market yourself is great. It's been it's happened recently. I just did a contest about a month or two ago for Rizzle, which is a new app. They have like about 15 million followers, and they were looking for content. So I created a contest long ago that I just did for fun. This is just like one of my weird art projects. But then when I found out what Rizzle was looking for, I thought that my peg could fit into their marketing hole. I hope that analogy works. And so I took my contest and I tweaked it just a little bit so that it would work and give them the content and the attention that they wanted. And they ended up paying me to do something which gave me more followers all across my social media. Again, I did the same thing just recently with them because they were happy with the last time. So I did another short series with them as well. And it's doing the exact same thing. They're paying me, and really on their app, these videos that I put up that they are spending their money promoting and also paying me for, it's just me saying, hey, this is it's actually for the school, and it's just me saying, hey, I'm going to answer questions on here and then check us out. And it's basically a straight up advertisement for the Arts Academy, and they pay me to do it rather than the other way around. And I keep doing this over and over again with projects. I'm actually working on a project coming up where I will be appearing on a YouTube channel that has a lot of followers, way more followers than I have. But the deal is they're going to be paying me to give them media featuring myself, which is basically just going to market me and my quote unquote brand. Brand is the worst word in the world. It makes me just want to throw up, by the way.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what if you want to engage in this type of strategy, but you can't sell your personality because that's not what your talent is?
I really think that the marsupial or symbiotic method can work for anything. I mean, like the example where I just told you about the photographer, which is an artistic pursuit, it works for that. And I think that if you just take whatever you're trying to do and find that specific thing that can be paired with it, and in a symbiotic relationship or a marsupial relationship, then you're halfway there. Like, can you tell me an example of what you might be thinking of?
Okay, well, maybe let's say you are someone who creates video content, but
Okay.
you yourself basically never show up on screen.
Okay.
and you're
so,
trying to engage in this.
Why are you
Like-
outing me like that?
why are you what?
He's outing me.
You're someone who creates video content, but you never appear on screen. What kind of video content are we talking about? Let's get specific so I can give you a specific answer.
Let's say you make videos of pigeons at various subway stops,
Okay.
and you have a following, but you want to engage in this to grow. Sorry to use the word brand, but you're trying to grow your brand.
What? Got it. Well,
Yeah.
in that case, if I were the pigeon person, I would seek out blogs or magazines about pigeons that don't have a lot of media on them on their social media, like, or who don't have a lot of video content. And if you're already making video content, then I would offer it to them for a low price, and then say that in exchange you will be able to post or give them the video that they will post, but then they will also they'll also like feature you prominently on social media whenever they're posting any of the videos.
So if you're offering something very niche, like pigeon videos,
Mhm.
is it better to do that in the sense you're looking for an audience that lacks pigeon videos, or you want to find an audience that like really wants that already?
Well, you want an audience. Well, I mean, that's the same. The answer to those aren't different things. You want to find an audience that lacks pigeon videos and would love them. So, like, if there were a blog about pigeons and there weren't a lot of videos on that blog, you could contact the people who make the blog, and then just either if you're already making the videos, just offer them for a low price, and then they would gladly accept them because it would make their blog more popular and make their readers happy.
So for the marsupial method, is it would you say that it's got more potential in local communities, or like it has potential everywhere, even like on the global sense?
No,
Like-
I think it has potential everywhere, because the things that I've been doing, actually, they don't matter where we are. Like, it doesn't matter one bit.
Cool.
And it extends very far, as far as like in the entertainment industry. I think that the possibilities of that extend very, very far. You could do quite a bit. And it is represented in a lot of different ways. For instance, like when I pitch a TV show with a host or talent attached, then that is in a way a symbiotic relationship where the person who is the host, they want to grow who they are, and then it also makes the show more palatable for a distributor, et cetera, where it's a thing where possibly everybody wins.
Yeah, I think if I'm understanding it correctly, I've done that without knowing what the term was.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I've done a lot of collaborations with West Coast brands and like artists in the Midwest, like Chicago, and I've basically always just offered them resources in the East Coast that they wouldn't normally have access to, and the benefit for both of us is just access to the opposite network. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And then I think the thing that is important about this thing is that I think a lot of people don't look at who they are and what they represent and what they're making as having great value to others, which it does. And so when you look at it that way, then suddenly your deals can be really interesting. And then why not get paid to promote yourself? It's way better to get paid to grow. It's way better to get paid to grow your brand than it is to just grind on your own and grow your brand. And then also, and one of the things about that I was talking about, how people like try to build their brands from the bottom up. So in all of those in all of those versions I'm talking about, it is using someone else's social media reach as well. So they're paying me to use their social media reach to grow my social media is one way that I could look at it. It's not precise, but it is happening. It's in there. All right. So if there are any questions, I think that you should ask those questions right now. But if there are not any questions, then we're going to wrap up. Are there any questions from our co-hosts with the mosts?
None from me.
All
Not
right.
me.
Great. That's great. Okay. So everybody, what? Did she just leave?
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm guessing it's a connection problem. I don't know.
She's just like, bye.
No, I accidentally pressed the on my mouse. I was clicking the cursor.
You're like, none for me. Bye.
Sorry.
That's quite all right. But everybody, please check us out at artsacademypodcast.com and at Alt Arts Academy on all social media. Bum, bum, bum.